Laurie Williams is a political analyst and associate professor at Mount Royal University, and she joins us now from Calgary. Professor Williams, thank you again for your time. Mark Carney won Canada's April election on a promise to stand up to Trump. Did he do that today? How did that meeting go?
I think the most often quoted thing that was said in the meeting today was that Mark Carney had met with Canadians over the election campaign, and they said that they are the owners of Canada, and they said it's not for sale. And of course, that led to a bit of a jovial exchange between the two. I think the most important thing about that meeting was that the respect that was shown, the cordial sort of tenor of the meeting, I think was positive. But of course, it's just the very first step and a very complicated and I think a time-consuming set of negotiations that begin today.
And jovial, as you say, I mean, there was even a bit of a joke from Trump at his own expense, acknowledging his role in Carney's election.
Yes, and actually, perhaps the most significant thing in that exchange was that he said that it was the biggest comeback, perhaps in political history, even bigger than his own, and so that sort of admiration is encouraging. It's the beginning of a better relationship between the Prime Minister of Canada and the President of the United States, and could serve as a foundation for something better, because those relationships, after all, are the foundation of everything else.
And from your viewpoint there, I mean, this was a real balancing act, wasn't it, for Mark Carney? I mean, so many Canadians are so angry at Donald Trump over these tariffs, but you also have the business community that's hoping that they can be lowered.
Well, exactly. And I think what the emphasis today in some of the things that Mark Carney said, as well as what's been the focus of discussions between the two countries, business leaders and others in both countries, is on the mutual benefits, the reciprocal benefits of that economic relationship, and that will continue to be the focus. I think the key, and this seems to be what Mark Carney was focusing on in his discussion today, and I expect will be the front and center argument going forward, is that this relationship benefits both countries, but in particular, it benefits the United States. And it's in the interest of both Donald Trump and the various businesses in the United States, as well as workers, to find a mutually advantageous resolution to this.
And so no major breakthrough, but Mark Carney had played down any suggestions that there would be from this. But this has been a reset, right? What can come from this?
Well, it is a better relationship, a more respectful, even cordial relationship between the leaders of the two countries. It is a beginning. That's clearly what Mark Carney has said. From here, it's going to be two things. One will be the negotiations between some of the people in the Canadian cabinet with those in the Trump administration, but it's also going to mean additional meetings between Mark Carney and Donald Trump, including at the G7 summit, which is taking place here in Canada in June.
The meeting was, of course, in sharp contrast to Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky's visit there a couple of months ago. What do you think other world leaders can take from what they saw from Mark Carney in standing up for what he thinks is right, but also having what was a good reset in relations there?
Much depends not just on what happens in a meeting like this, which is in front of cameras. Lots more was discussed behind closed doors, and that's probably where more substantive discussions were had. Everybody's going to have two things going on. That personal connection or relationship was important, but also the actual substance of the relationship between the countries involved. And one of the reasons that this particular set of negotiations is so important is because the volume of trade involved between the two countries. There are a lot of things that can happen positively and negatively for the United States, depending on how this negotiation continues. Donald Trump is in a lot of pressure, both within his own country and internationally, to make some progress, to sort of tamp down some of the volatility that has occurred. And I think any leader can appeal to Donald Trump's interest and to the interest of those in the United States in terms of what it is that they're offering in those meetings. These trade talks are extraordinarily complex, and the suggestion that it could happen with all of these countries at the same time in 90 days is a tall order, to say the least. And so I think some of these leaders can offer both a positive mutually beneficial relationship, but in particular appeal to what is in Donald Trump's interest in the shortest time possible.